Hey guys, Joby Zombie here. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about a classic silent horror that was released in the year of 1922, directed by F.W. Murnau, and it goes by the name of Nosferatu. So let's go on with the synopsis. So the story follows Thomas Hutter. He's lured to a Romanian castle in the mountains owned by the mysterious Count Orlok. Orlok wishes to purchase a property near Hutter and his wife Ellen. However, what Thomas doesn't seem to realise while staying at Orlok's castle is that Orlok himself is a vampire and Hutter must save his wife from Orlok before it's too late. In my mind, this movie still holds up as one of the creepiest in the silent film era. Not just that, it is, in my mind, also one of the creepiest films ever made. The film has so many iconic scenes that changed the face of cinema, and still remains in the minds of film critics, fans, and viewers alike. The film is basically Dracula. However, the director of the movie, F.W. Murnau, was unable to receive the rights from Bram Stoker's widow. So in order to make the film his own, he changed some of the characters' names, mainly Dracula being, in this case, Count Orlok. It was the very first film to be based on the Dracula character created by Bram Stoker. The location also was changed from Transylvania to Bremen, the city of Bremen. However, the Stoker estate, who had not given permission for the film, recognised the similarities and sued the film's German producer. An English judge ordered that all film copies had to be destroyed and the negative burned. Fortunately, the order was not enforceable, and so in Germany a print survived. So that's quite mysterious as well. Just the fact that this film was considered, well, would have been considered a lost horror film. I think all of the lost horror films are very mysterious. Like you've got London After Midnight, starring Lon Chaney Sr. Of course, Turner Classic Films have restored that movie now, with the surviving, with the surviving prints and the photos, and they've put them together. But that film is still mysterious. There is also many other lost vampire movies. There's a German one, I think, called Vampire, which is also lost. I believe there's one, Dracula's Death, something along those lines. But I think the fact that Nosferatu could have been a lost horror film, yeah, it just really gets me, because this film is gold. So let's take a moment to talk about Max Schreck. I don't think anybody else at the time, not even Lon Chaney Sr., could have been able to portray Count Orlok. Even though Sr. was the man of 1,000 faces and possibly, well, we know, would have done his own makeup for the film, I don't think he would have been able to portray Count Orlok the way that Max Schreck did. Even everything about the actor is mysterious. Schreck was the right height for the character, he had the right body language, and he had the right eyes for the character. Especially in the scene where he's reading the newspaper and he slowly brings it away from his eyes, and you can just see his eyebrows and his eyes just glaring at Thomas Hutter. That scene always stands out to me. There's a numerous amount of scenes that stand out to me in this movie. I love how his head would turn and then his body would slowly follow. Leonard Maltin's movie and video guide quoted that Schreck's vampire is the ugliest in film history. Sort of see where he's coming from there, but yeah, it's absolutely true. You will never ever find a vampire that is as iconic as Nosferatu. Yes, you have Bela Lugosi's Dracula, but this is the original Dracula. So, yeah. So because the film is in the public domain, much like most of the other silent horror classics, the movie has several scores. The DVD released by Eureka Video doesn't really have the best score. In my opinion, it has an okay score, but half the time there's scenes where it sounds really, really bad. The score sort of has this hissing sound to it, and this is a double disc DVD as well. So, yeah, it's a double disc DVD, and it's not like you can pick a different score on each disc. This film has obviously 2 discs, and on each disc you get a different version of the film. On one disc you get the black and white version, and on the other you get a colour tinted version. Now I don't know why they couldn't have put a different score on each film, but it really sounds like an 80s techno mix, especially in the scene where, in particular, where Count Orlok is coming out of the cellar of the ship. And it, like I've said, it's sort of an 80s techno theme, and it's sort of something that you'd hear in the original Terminator movie. And it's like, and it's like, this does not fit with Nosferatu at all. If anything, orchestrated music fits with Nosferatu. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend the this DVD version. I mean, it offers quite a few special features, but the score, no. Colour tinting, it's okay. The fact that it gives you the black and white version as well, that's okay. But the score, no. So, if you can, look out for another score of the film. Another character that I must mention is the character of Nock. He is so creepy in my mind. Not as creepy as Count Orlok, but he is just as creepy, I think. Is the sort of character that when you look at him, it makes you go, ugh. So Nock is basically Renfield, in other words, and is the servant of Count Orlok. The scene where he's in the prison cell, those are the most creepiest scenes, because it's very dim lighting, and you know, it just gives you chills. And eventually he does manage to escape from the prison, and there's a scene where he's climbing on the roof, and because the whole plot basically think that the people of this town think that there's a massive plague going along, whereas, you know, if they see you with like bite marks in your neck, they think that you've been infected by the plague, and they don't seem to realise that it's a vampire who's going around. But yeah, there's a scene where he's running on the roof and people are like looking up at him, and it's just that scene, it sticks out to me, you know. But yeah, Nock is such a creepy character, he really is. So Renfield is played by Alexander Gronek, and yeah, he does do justice to the character, I think. Because it's a silent film, obviously, it has to be very expressive, and this is what this film is, especially with Hutter. He's a very expressive character, and also, you know, Count Orlok himself. I refuse to call him Nosferatu, because he is not Nosferatu, he is Count Orlok. So before I wrap up this review, I must mention a movie that was released in the year of 2000, and it goes by the name of Shadow of the Vampire. The film shows the making of Nosferatu, and it stars John Malkovich as F.W. Murnau and Willem Dafoe as Count Orlok. The story follows the director of Nosferatu, Murnau, who hires Max Schreck as Count Orlok. However, what the film crew and Murnau don't realise is that Schreck is a real vampire and is killing off members of the crew. It's definitely a worthwhile film to watch. For a long time, I always thought that was true, that Max Schreck was a vampire and he was killing off members of the crew. I always thought it was true for a long time, until I saw Shadow of the Vampire, and then I thought, oh, okay, it's just their take on the film Nosferatu. But if it was true, that would have been fantastic, I think. It would have brought more mysterious feelings to Max Schreck. It would have made him more mysterious. Even the picture you're looking at right now, he is a mysterious fellow. You look at that picture and you go, yeah, he's mysterious. But Shadow of the Vampire, definitely check it out. It stars Cary Elwes, actually, before he was in Saw. So, yeah, it's quite a good film, actually. It's quite funny at times, but it's worth checking out. Okay, so memorable scenes in Nosferatu. The dinner table scene with Orlok and Hutter, definitely. I'm going to use the word mysterious because Count Orlok is mysterious, and I've used that word quite a lot in this video. but he is a mysterious character. And yeah, like I've said, the scene where he just takes the newspaper down from his eyes, definitely a great scene. And the scene where Hutto cuts his finger, yeah, and then Orlok rushes from his chair. It's like blood, precious blood. So yeah, very iconic scene. An even more iconic scene, the shadow of Count Orlok approaching the staircase. That is, you know, a piece of imagery that is always identified with the movie. As soon as you mention Nosferatu, you always think of that scene. I think a lot of people do, and it's a very iconic horror scene. So yeah, it's definitely worth a mention. Also, Orlok coming through the doorway. Amazingly, he's just about the same height as the doorway. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And also, it is used in the music video of Queen's Under Pressure, and also Radio Gaga. So yeah, just the fact that a film that I like and it's used in my favourite band's music video, very good. Like I said, because it's in the public domain, that's why it was free to use for anyone. Count Orlok rising from his coffin just upwards like that with no movement whatsoever. Brilliant, just brilliant. The scene with Orlok on the boat, fantastic. The camera's like upwards shot and you can see like his full body, just amazing piece of cinematography. And finally the final sequence with Ellen in the bed and Orlok fading away. Amazing, amazing cinematography for a 1922 movie. Overall, Nosferatu is a brilliant piece of cinema. Like I've said, it holds up as one of the creepiest silent movies of all time. Everything about this movie is great. It's a timeless classic that will never be forgotten anytime soon and remains as one of the creepiest films ever made. And that is why Nosferatu gets a solid 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys. I do hope to fit in more horror film reviews for the month of October. I need to get around doing my best Leatherface masks, so I think that might be the next video. But stay tuned for more horror film reviews, and I'll see you soon. Take care.